from My Online Guy with us today for a return to our entrepreneurship facilitation service, and what a mouthful that is. Only the federal government have come up for that. But yeah, so look, I've got a bunch of questions here for you, Jimmy, so I'll just get cracking straight into them. Look, can you tell me a little bit about your latest business idea in a 30-second elevator pitch?
Yeah, sure. So firstly, thank you for having me on. It's always great to sort of talk about the story and how we got to where we are today. So My Online Guy is the business I have, and at its core, we're a digital marketing agency. So, think websites, SEO, Google Ads, marketing for businesses. But, we're much more than that. We are really just here to help good people that are down to earth and have ambition, who run great businesses, be renowned for it at scale. Because a lot of marketing that is done for bad businesses because they can't lean on marketing. They can't lean on referrals as their source because the work isn't there. The good work isn't there. So we're just trying to give good people that do great business a fighting chance against those businesses that use marketing as a tool to supplement work quality.
Cool. So how did this business idea get started to begin with?
Well, look, I've always been a bit of I'm a closet tech nerd. I've really honed in since I've had kids, just focusing on other activities. But I'm a massive nerd. Always have been ever since even when I was in the Navy. I'd always get on the computer and just play around. So I started doing marketing for myself and the enterprises I've had over the years for about 10 years ago. And I had a lot of what are called affiliate websites, which is basically where you create blogs and then you sell, you have links in there that sell on Amazon and you get a commission off Amazon. So a lot of what I learned about marketing had been from the stuff that I'd done for myself. I was doing this, moonlighting this, I worked full time. And then we were living in the wheat belt and I worked as a branch manager of an agricultural dealership. And we just wanted to head back to Mandurah, which is where the agency's based now. And I said to my wife, if I just start taking clients on, we can sort of create our own job in Mandurah, because obviously it's quite difficult to find work for it, especially at the level I worked at. And fast forward, we came back to Mandurah, started the agency formally. I had 3 clients that were itching to work with me from when I was doing it myself, and then the rest is history. There's 8 of us in the office here, and we're just growing from strength to strength.
Cool. So how did this fit with your previous experience coming from the Navy?
It's funny. I get asked that. It's funny. Someone asked me that the other day. I think the Navy. So like when I was 17, I joined the Navy when I was 17. I did almost 10 years, and at the time when I joined the Navy, I was incredibly shy. And people that know me now probably wouldn't think that. But at the time when I was in the Navy, I was incredibly shy. It would have been anxiety, I think, formally, but had that much anxiety that I couldn't call up for a haircut. So anyway, sort of stumbled into the Navy, got in, and it got me out of my shell because I was forced to communicate with a whole bunch of other people and react to people that I wouldn't traditionally talk to. And that really kind of set me up for everything I did after the Navy, because as you're well aware, almost all of what makes people in business and entrepreneurship successful is communication. So being able to communicate with people at different levels and at their level is something that the Navy really taught me how to do, and discipline as well. That's something I carried when I left the Navy, and I got a bit of a shock when I moved into agriculture, and I was just used to being everywhere early because in the Navy, if you're not early, you're late, you get charged. It's a bad thing. So when I moved into agriculture, driving around visiting farmers, I'd be rocking to places up on time and early, and they were just not expecting that. So I always carried those standards that I set for the Navy, set for us. I always carried them. I always carry them still to this day, and that seems to put us in a good position when being compared to others, because we're always on time. We always commit to. If we commit to something, we're always there. They're just good life skills to have. So a lot of that stuff carried out of the Navy into my working career. And then I've always had an entrepreneurial streak. and I just decided, well, if I just take what worked in agriculture and what I was doing in the Navy and applied it to a different industry where it's not as common, it could really be a nice point of difference to get us above the noise in the market, and that's what seems to be happening. So,
yeah, okay. So I almost wonder if you just answered this question, but who or what has been your biggest influence in your business journey so far?
no, yeah, well, obviously the Navy's been a big part of it. But different phases of my life, different people have come in and provided. I've always been very fortunate that I'm not traditionally very highly educated, so I didn't personally finish year 10, and what that required me to do, it's a bit like going blind and your hearing getting better. I just made a conscious decision to learn as much as I possibly could to make up that gap in the lack of tangible education that I missed. And a lot of that was to do with bullying and stuff. But anyway, so like long story short, I just, if anyone's willing to give me advice, I'm always willing to listen to it. Now, whether I take it on board or anything, that's more to do with my personal opinion on it. But if someone's willing to take the time to give me advice, I always listen. And it's amazing if you're willing to listen to people, what they're willing to tell you and share with you. And like my first boss in the Navy was a guy called Adam Berry. He had a huge influence on my life in regards to like just how to be the guy that people are naturally attracted to. He may not have told me me physically, but I was through osmosis picked that up. And then one of my biggest influences was the owner of Boakman Machinery, which is the agricultural dealership I worked in. They'd been in business concurrently for 50 years. And he taught me a lot about how to deal with people and how to build relationships with people. And I took a lot of that on board. And then coming into this, just a lot of keeping my ear to the ground. And like I said, if anyone's willing to teach me something, I'm willing to listen, and I'll try and do it in return. So that's sort of they've been the biggest influences, is the willingness and the openness to learn things if they're offered to me, and take advantage of that.
Cool. All right. So along the way, what's been the biggest surprise with your business ventures, and how's it shaped your plans going forward?
Yeah, it's a great question. One of the biggest surprises to me is how supportive the local community has been. So we're fortunate that our business is really location independent. We could have put our flag anywhere in the country really, and we have clients all over the country, which helps with diversity. But we're based in Mandurah. My wife and we're from Mandurah originally. We love the place, and when I first started the agency, I thought, a very small portion of our client base is going to be based in Mandurah. But what I found is by joining the chamber and just being involved in the business community here, a lot of people have just come out of the woodwork and supported us. So I would say 30 to 40% of our client base is actually local, whereas I thought that would be closer to 10 to 20%. So how that's adjusted, what we've done is we put a lot more emphasis on what we do in the community and locally here, as well as obviously our external marketing efforts. But we support a lot of sports teams and stuff like that, because it's not really for any tangible like dollar figure return on investment, more just like we are great. We are personally grateful, Paul and I, of the support we're getting from the Mandurah business community, and it's a way we can give back to the community as well. So yeah, we've just adjusted our plans based on the fact that there's more business in Mandurah than people give Mandurah credit for, and we want to be a part of that.
Cool. I mean, the Chamber of Commerce here is just absolutely brilliant, and I'll make sure Andrew gives me a kickback for that little plug.
And I'll just quickly add this: it is hands down one of the most active chambers not that I've been big in business a lot, but like I was quite active in Boakman's, because I was quite a senior level at the company, and it is one of the most single biggest drivers of our business. And like, I don't know if our business would have existed without the Chamber of Commerce. I can't even emphasize that, because Cam, who's now the operation manager of our business, and thanks to you guys, for helping getting Cam up to speed and getting him his Cert 3. But without
thanks for the little plug there.
Yeah, no, it's been a great experience. Cam just finished it the other day, so it's that was really good. But without Andrew's introduction to CAM with me, the business wouldn't have grown. Without them supporting us in events and just getting us on and out and about, we wouldn't have met all the business owners around, and that wouldn't have given us a good base to expand on. So we owe a hell of a lot to the Chamber of Commerce. And I think it's one of those things, it's an in versus out situation. The more you put into a thing like a Chamber of Commerce or any kind of networking situation, the better the outcomes you're going to get. And so like it's, if you the beauty about this chamber specifically is that they're willing to take as much input as you can throw at them, and then in the return you get the output. So we just lean on the chamber a lot because it's available to us, and they're active and they're excited about it. So yeah, no, I owe a lot to the chamber.
Cool. All right, I'll make sure Andrew gives you one of those kickbacks as well now. All right, so moving on, what are your goals for the next 6 months?
Yeah, great question. We've been in a phase of growth, especially in the last 7 months. We've taken on 5 new staff members, and what we're finding now is that I'm actually artificially slowing down the growth of the business by just not canvassing as much as I used to, because what we found is the processes didn't keep up with the growth. So we were kind of strapped. It felt like we were strapped to a rocket and we were getting blasted to the moon, but we didn't know how much fuel was in the rocket. We didn't know whether the rocket was going to make it. So we've just slowed that process down and slowed that growth down artificially and temporarily, hopefully, who knows, but temporarily, so that we can focus and put all our energy into growing our processes. So things in the next 6 months is we're really going to be working on our processes to improve the customer experience and the client experience by getting better outcomes and improving our efficiency to increase our profit margins. I'm also working on a workshop. This is the first time I've actually announced it, but I'm actually working on a workshop called Deciphering Digital, which is there to help small business owners reduce the chance of them getting ripped off in marketing. So I've been working on that, which hopefully will get launched in the next couple of months. So that's one of my personal things I want to achieve, and yeah, just improving our processes so that this time next year, I want to get to this time next year and be a point where I can just put the foot on the pedal, get back on that rocket, and be the point where it's a lot more scientific about how we grow and knowing the staffing levels we need to get to the next steps in the business. So that's us.
It is absolutely brilliant to see businesses around the place, despite all the COVID lockdowns and all that sort of doom and gloom, that are growing rapidly. And we've been in a similar situation where you're almost having to hold back so that you don't grow beyond what you're able to do.
And I think that's a really good point. I've touched on this in one of my live streams. So I get on and do a lot of videos like this, and I touched on this. So when COVID first hit, we had just started, and there was a lot of businesses obviously that were scared. And I basically sat down and said, well, if I'm going to go down with the ship, if the ship's going to go down, I've got all the equipment. I might as well just try and provide some value. So I got on here and I did 5 or 6 live streams a day, every day for a month and a half. And then JobKeeper got announced, and all of a sudden 11 inquiries came that day. That people have been watching that stuff, weren't in a position to do anything because of obviously COVID. And then when COVID took off, and so that would be my advice to a business owner that's maybe slowing down a little bit, or is there's a little bit of uncertainty in their particular industry, is just double down on the things that provide value to the clients and the customers. Double down on that, and you'll be surprised about what happens when all this turns around. You want to, if you are slowing down now, you want to be positioning for when it does pick back up. You want to be positioning so you're front running it. And it's a good it's a double-edged sword. Obviously, you got to pay the bills, but it's a really good opportunity for business owners to take a bit of reflection on the business and go, okay, well, it is slowing down a little bit. Can we use this time to improve our processes, or get our marketing down pat, or catch up on all those things, so that when it does pick up again, we're in the front seat to take advantage of it. And that's I think if businesses and industries that aren't as robust as say marketing and stuff do that, I think they'll get a pleasant surprise when it all does start to pick up again for them.
Yeah, and look, it's just around the corner. So anyway, 100%. What is driving your curiosity right at the moment?
Sorry, I missed that question. What is
driving your curiosity at the moment?
Yeah, sure. So Yeah, another great question. These are great questions. So, like I said, we've taken on a lot of staff at the moment, and we've always created this space as in my online guy. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's I pay the bills and stuff like that. No one's done any guys like of that, but I created my online guy as a place that I personally wanted to work in. So it's very, very relaxed. It's a very casual atmosphere because I'm a very relaxed, casual guy, down to earth, and like a good beer and things. But what we've been working on is how do we maintain momentum in the business in regards to staff and motivation, while still maintaining the culture that makes us a great place to work. And we've been working a lot on that. So some of the things that I've been trying out and testing at the moment is like we have a stand-up meeting every day, the whole team. And we get on there, and I basically once a week will ask everyone, what some of the wins they've achieved, and one business, one personal. We did a goal setting session at one of those stand-up meetings the other day where I asked everyone in the team, what are your goals for the next 6 months? Not business related, personal goals. And I found out one of our team wants to write a book. So I was like, okay, well, let's break down that, because one thing I'm good at doing is breaking down goals and making tangible, actionable insights out of them. I said, well, how many pages a day do you need? So we sat down, and so like at the moment, I'm really focusing on how do I make this place a better place to work than other places, so that we don't have to compete as hard for staffing, because like obviously there's only so many marketers around, and if we are going to grow next year, we're going to need to staff up. So we need to have a unique value proposition, and we're a service to these guys, and we need to make sure that when we get to 10 staff, 15, 20, 30 staff, we can attract good talent that wants to work here, not be just throwing money at them to be forced to come here.
Yeah, because like, money's nice, but it's not everything. Everyone in the industry might be paying reasonable sort of money. So you look at places like Google and Microsoft and the things that they do for their staff that are beyond anything monetary. Yeah, they pay well, but they look after their people.
I'm really big on giving this place, and this office is a neutral space, and what I mean by that is I really personally think it's quite pretentious. Some of these agencies, they treat themselves as startups with ping pong tables and free lunches and stuff. I'm a big believer in that. You just need to create a culture that attracts people. The actual place they work is irrelevant. There's some places with amazing people in them that are dusty and dirty, and it's not the environment that creates a good culture. And what I mean by a neutral environment is I want someone, if they're having a bad day, one of the team, if they're having a bad day, to come in here and it doesn't positively or negatively affect their mood. I don't want this there to be their escape, but I also don't want it to be a place where they come in, they go, oh, I know it's just going to be a hassle. I just want it to be a place that is comfortable, in a comfortable environment to work in. That is just a pleasant place to work. And you shouldn't have to. This is my personal opinion, but you shouldn't have to use free lunches and ping pong tables and stuff to attract staff. You should just have a good work environment with a good culture that people are just willing to look over the plain walls and stuff, because it's just a nice place to work. And so I've been doing a lot of reading and learning about that and how to develop that, because it's I think if we look after our team, in return, they'll look after us when we really need them to look after us. And that's paid dividends so far.
Cool. Okay. Now, what is one myth about your industry that you'd love to dispel right now?
Ooh. Oh man, one myth specifically one myth specifically that I'm covering off in a video after this is people think that marketing and SEO specifically is like a dark art. They think only a select few can do it. I'm completely transparent. Everything I learn about marketing, I learn off YouTube. I just done it over a very long period of time. But there is nothing that can't be scrutinized and peer reviewed in marketing. So one of the biggest myths is you just got to have wholesale faith in the people you're working with. I don't believe that. I believe that that's the myth, and the reality is that people should be peer reviewing the work that they're getting done to make sure it's being done properly. And there's so many tools out there because and where I'm getting at is we all learn from the same stuff. So like you can watch the same videos, you can get upskill yourself enough to the point where you can critically look at what's being done for you and make a decision for yourself whether it's good or bad. And I think that's the biggest myth in this industry is like this whole blind faith in agencies and then people getting ripped off.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Now, of course, life isn't all about the successes. We all have our failures. Have you ever had a failure? And if so, what were the lessons you learned from that?
Oh, 100%. I have failures all the time. Like for how much marketing experience I personally have and the team has, I don't have a huge amount of business experience, right? Like I'm very honest about that. That's why I'm always at chamber events and stuff, because it's like I want to surround myself with people that have more experience than me. Yes, some of the failures I like just things like, overpaying for services and support and and just not doing enough diligence, just putting blind faith in people without doing enough diligence. But yeah, just I can't really pinpoint one specific failure that's really set. I think one good example of a failure that you can learn from is when I was with my previous company and I was the branch manager, one of the staff members basically put something under the rug, like they made a mistake, didn't tell anyone. And then I found out after the fact, and I didn't talk to the customer about it. I kind of let it slide. And so it almost cost us it cost the business a lot of money, but it almost cost me my job. And after that, I just sort of said to myself, I'm not going to blindside. If I don't personally want to be blindsided about people, then we can't blindside the customers. We can't blindside the staff. So I've just got a very, 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 very strict policy here of, if there is a problem, nothing's too big to fix, but people have to know about it. Otherwise, it can't be fixed. And I don't want to walk in this office one day and a client be like, oh, Jimmy, you didn't tell us about this, or what happened here, and I don't know about it, because I don't want to be sandbagged and them. So I think a lot of that came from that experience and going like, if I just handled this differently and didn't blindside my boss, didn't blindside the customer, we would have had a different outcome. So I've carried that through now, and that's served us very well as an agency.
Look, I reckon honesty is always the best policy.
Yes.
Yeah. You might think in that moment that, I can hide this away, but it always comes out.
It does, and it normally comes out in a big way too. So if you can and I think people appreciate sincerity too. Like, especially in this industry, it's so rare to have people swallow their pills, when they make mistakes and stuff, that when you do it, it's actually genuinely refreshing. So, we're lucky that this industry is full of cowboys, and so it makes us look good when we are just trying to run a good business. But yeah, I think, that is a key takeaway. If there's any younger people watching this, is like, nothing's that big a problem that it's worth hiding. Everything can be dismantled and fixed by people with experience. So if there is some kind of problem that you've come across, you need to tell people that can help you come up with a solution for it. And no one expects you to have the answers all the time, but no one can give you answers or solutions if they don't know about it.
Yeah, well, isn't FAIL actually an acronym, first attempt in learning?
Oh, there you go, man. I've done that so many times. It's amazing if you actually think about it, how many fails everyone has in their life. But you just learn. As long as you learn from them, you don't make them multiple times. You generally you're generally going to do okay.
All right. So if there was someone who looking to get into self-employment and they walked in right now, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think firstly, I'd recommend they do it. It's a completely challenging. It's one of the most challenging experiences I've had, and like I said, I went to a war zone. I've had some pretty challenging experiences in my life, and it's one of the most challenging experiences I've had, but also simultaneously one of the most rewarding experiences. I wake up literally every morning raring to go. itching to get into this office and achieve stuff, because I know I have full control of my own destiny. So my suggestion to someone that was thinking of starting their own business or starting their own venture is imperfect action. Just get in there, get amongst it, get in the mix, and build the plane as you're falling. You can't educate yourself. It's important to have an underlying underpinning education as an entry, but there's a real big problem with analysis paralysis, where people just use learning as a rod to not start something. Get in there, learn get the underpinning knowledge. Do your pre-apprenticeship, do one of these entrepreneurial courses with you guys, get the underpinning knowledge, and then just have at it. And then the other thing I would suggest is just lean on your network, build your network up and lean on it. If a young gentleman or a young lady comes to me going, "Oh, Jimmy, I want to start a marketing agency. Can I just come in and pick your brains?" I would not only give them all the possible time I have that I can give them if they're sincere, I would also do everything I possibly can to help them out, because any other business owner or any other entrepreneur knows that it's really, really difficult to get the start. And that always comes full circle back. Next thing, I'm going to be leaning on them for help and advice, because they're going to learn things that I'm not going to learn. And it just helps it all in the long run. We all, as a business community, everyone needs to support each other. So that's the other thing I would suggest, is just go. So if you were starting a business tomorrow, get down to a Chamber of Commerce event, even if you don't have the business yet or you haven't started it. Get down there, meet some people, pick some brains, buy some coffees, and just pick the brains of some of these people that have been doing business for 20, 30, 40 years, and see what they have to say. Everyone will share their knowledge with you.
Yeah, cool. Great advice. All right. So is there anything that I haven't asked you?
No, not really. I think, from a marketing perspective, there's not really much I can offer. I'm pretty transparent. I would just say that, from a marketing perspective, I have my own videos and stuff over on my online guy, if anyone's curious about that side. But no, not really. This has been a great interview. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Cool. So, if this sort of podcast interview was going to have a title, what should we call it? Because actually, I'm going to have to come up with something.
It's a good question. I'm a technical dude. I hire copywriters for that exact reason. But I think running something around running business with integrity and running business, with conviction. I think that was probably the key to, again, going back to the advice I would give someone that was just starting this, is have conviction in what you're doing and see it through. Don't, if you are sincere about getting into starting a business or starting an entrepreneurship, have conviction in it, see it through, give it a fair shake, and then be able to put your hand on your heart and go, you gave it everything. Like, if this business failed tomorrow, I could sit in a room with anyone and go, I gave it as best a shot as I could. I didn't skip corners. I didn't cut costs. I gave it a fair shake. It didn't work, but what else could I have done? I put everything on the table and it didn't work. That's just how life is. Just pull your socks up and put your boots back on and do it again. It's not the end of the world if the first venture you do fails. It's just what you do. It's what you do after that makes all the difference. And I think it would be just running business with conviction, something like that. It's really important to me, and I think it's definitely it's a secret weapon, because in business you only have to be that much better than your competitors, and if you can use that as a conviction as that, it's almost impossible for someone to replicate, because there's very, very few people with true conviction in what they do, and that's what I would say. Yeah.
Cool. Now, if any of our viewers want to find your business, where would they look for you?
Well, hopefully, if I'm doing my job well, they can just find me if they search. But no, in all seriousness, so the agency is called My Online Guy. I'm pretty active on all platforms, so you should be able to find me, Jimmy Mitchell, or My Online Guy. We're pretty intertwined. So just search. If you search SEO manager or websites manager or websites per, you should be able to find us if I'm doing my job well. So. And I will end on that. If someone wants to just have a chat about their business and marketing, or wants a brainstorming session, feel free to just contact me. I don't normally charge for that stuff. It helps me get better at what I do. And if I can create some clarity and direction for someone out there, and it helps them make a better financial decision in their business, I get a lot of satisfaction out of that. So yeah, don't be afraid to hit me up because you're going to get a hard sell or anything. I'll shoot straight. If I can help you, I can help you. If I can't, I can't, but I'll point you in the right direction.
That's brilliant. All right. Well, thank you very much for meeting with us today, Jimmy. I think it's been, like you say, it's been a great interview.
I appreciate that. I've really enjoyed it myself.
Yeah. And yeah, look, I look forward to doing business with you going forward.
I'll see you at the next chamber event.
Yeah, all right. I've got to find a new babysitter so I can get some more of them.
Just take them with you. You're all right. Andrew can look after them. All right, mate. Have a good day.
Thank you.